All right, we are recording. I will take us through VulaCheck, the intelligent lending platform that we built for the microfinance lender or the South African micro lender. One of the frustrations that we have in terms of the micro lending business is trying to get to know whether we've made money or whether we've made profitability in terms of our books, whether we have clarity. And profitability mostly is a mystery, whether we are lending. So we are acting, we are having actions, how are we making the money at the end of the day? Then profit and loss sometimes comes late. We don't have the capability of that. We have to have an accountant work on our books. And then in terms of getting the performance of our books, the details of our books, then we are also challenged in getting that. It's a challenge I've experienced, a challenge I've gone through. And therefore, I'm able to come through and say, how do we fix that challenge? VulaCheck, the lending platform, combines all these things into one aspect. That means we put in the full lending cycles, the one that you're used to in terms of integrations and everything within one system. And then we also have a real-time financial brain. That means you do not have to have entries into the system. You do not have to have an accountant, or you can have an accountant, but the level of the system development is to ensure that every entry is passed. So yours is to disburse the loan. On the end, the system manages all the entries for you. We did develop VulaCheck 1.0. Some of you might be aware that we developed an intelligent lending platform, intelligence of lending that would allow us to go through the borrowers, give us an opinion, and use the power of AI. So we use the same engine, that's Vula AI, into VulaCheck to give us an end-to-end system, where now you do not need to upload anything. All the client has to do is on their side, borrow, and then Vula AI will give you an analytical lending. So we have loans disbursed, we have double entry done for you in the system, we have profit and loss done, and then we have a business intelligence dashboard. This time, a real-time intelligent dashboard, you'll be able to know who your clients are, where they are, majority of the clients that are not paying, greatest areas, we're going to see the different reports. We're going to see profitability, we're going to see branch performance and analysis. We're going to see all these areas and how we manage that. From application to general ledger, that means borrower application, KYC, we've integrated affordability within the system, the document review and how we review the documents. We have bureau integrated, XDS, Experience for your credit bureau. We already have NUPE intact for collections. And then agreements, our agreements are electronic act client. That means you have OTPs and client is able to sign in for the loans or anything they are borrowed. Disbursement, working on through NEPE, but all the collections for our debit check are done via NUPE. We are registered with SACRA as an ALG status, therefore we're able to transmit all our information for all our clients to the credit bureaus. Then we have AI, that is intelligent system, that's Vula AI, that is actually embedded within the system, so that is able to read all our bank statements, all our payslips. We are going to see the VulaCheck engine in action in terms of authenticity, in terms of cross-reference, in terms of credit bureau, and in terms of giving you an opinion. Remember, we've embedded AI into the system, not to make the decision for you, but to guide you and work together with you to be able to show you things that you might not. So for you to go through one application which takes 45 minutes, we've collapsed that into 90 seconds. So where are we in terms of compliance? We've ensured that we've enforced all rate caps. VulaCheck is NCR compliant fully, end to end, in terms of all the regulations that are supposed to be. We've monitoring the Induplam rooms in terms of how we monitor computation of interest, how we do all the fees and regulations. All the loans are supported by OTP signing. That means the client will receive a confirmation once the loan is approved, they're able to sign. We have also integrated a two-way SMS. That means so your clients who probably are in SASA, the clients that are not able to have smartphones to sign an agreement, These clients are supposed to be able to use a two-way SMS. We've integrated a two-way SMS. The client would get an SMS on the loan, and they're able to respond to that SMS, and the agreement is able to be signed. We're able to handle in terms of data and all queries and SACRA management. We've integrated with XDS and Experian, so you have a choice. We give you choices on what you need to see or what you need to use. We've integrated with NuPay. We are at high engagement levels of integrating with another different debit check for purposes of choice. VulaCheck does not do any collections for our clients. All agreements are done by the microlender. So you do an agreement with NuPay, with Experian, and with XDS, either of them. We support in preparation of the documentation to present to these bureaus and the payment and NuPay. We present the documents for you and they engage for that. So that's the debit check and for purposes of operation. Right now, if you sign up before the 30th of August, it's at 829 Rand per month, and you lock that 829 for the whole year, not until December, but for the next 12 months, you will be subscribed to 829 Rands for the whole year. That's meaning signing up. After this presentation, if you sign up, you get credits. We're going to look at the credits for VulaCheck, SMS credits, bank verification credits, worth 500. If you sign today after this presentation, you'll get 500 back in credits for yourself and for your entity. So how is it? It is easy to register for VulaCheck. You just go to vulacheck.com, put in your details. We require your NCR or your NCR number or your CAPC and your ID. Once you have everything in place, we are able to, within 24 hours, make your approval and provision for VulaCheck. VulaCheck is fully loaded, comes with your online portal, comes with your, what you call the website and your online lending portal. So everything is provisioned the moment we accept your application. That means from day one, you can start lending. It will take about 3 to 4 days for us to get your NuPay keys and your Experian or your XDS keys. And within 5 days, our system is fully integrated with the system. I'll take us to a brief demo so that we can see the power that is in VulaCheck. So allow me to get to the demo and we see the power that is VulaCheck for us. I believe you can all see my screen. You can raise your hand if you can see my screen. Thank you very much. So once we've logged into VulaCheck, once you've gotten all the credentials, you're able to log in, and this is where all the microlenders will lend in as lenders within us microlenders. This is your dashboard. This is where you land to once you approve you to become a lender using VulaCheck. So here right now we have VulaCheck. However, this is a white label system. We'll show you how to change the logo, where you can put the logo of your entity. And these as microlender admins that you're looking at will be your user interface. The first thing that you learn to is this, where you'd require to provide for us documents. There is a document that you download from NuPay. You consent, you sign in the consent and attach all this other documentation, whether you're giving us your personal or business bank statement. There are those who use their personal account for business. Whichever way you attach those and you submit, then we will progress for you to get your signing with NuPay. So this is your dashboard where you land. You have to see loan book, what you've collected this month, the pending applications, and all the loans that are in arrears. Then we have all these. You can see all the loans, where we are, and the progress of the various loans that we have. So whether the agreement has been signed or the loan is in process, the loan status, and once the loans are in arrears and the bans, you'll be able to see that. Notification will be alerted where you have applications that are stalled, applications that are awaiting disbursement. And because you as a microlender, when you have another officer or when you have another team member on, you will be able to see what they are working on. You'll be able to see the agreements and what is pending on. First, I would like to take you through the settings, because that settings is what determines now how you're going to lend, and I want to see how we are able to craft VulaCheck. Your details will translate. Once you've opened the company, all your details will come through. So you'll have all the details of your company, the address, the bank details, and everything. So once you've ensured that everything is filled up here, these details are important for you to fill because they will translate to your loan agreement. Everything here will translate to what we'll see in the loan agreement. Then on the branding, this is where now we are able to brand how we want the look and feel of our online portal. So for VulaCheck, you can see the branding colors are here, but whatever entity you are in, you'll be able to use whatever branding you want to use. Here is where you change in the logo. Once you get your instance of VulaCheck, you can put in the logo and the logo will change. So the logo here will change, and the logo on your documentation, and the logo also on your online portal. The online portal, all of them are standard in terms of the wordings on the front page. That means you're able to change this. I will show you just now how you're able to change from one to the other. So once you've gotten the instance of VulaCheck, even on email, we'll be able to send you the link of VulaCheck. And this is the link where your borrowers will be able to apply your loan from. I want to open this link in an incognito window so that we can see how your borrower on the other end will be able to come in through the system. So once I believe you can be able to see my screen. So here becomes where your lender or where your borrowers will be able to. So this is now your online portal. This is where your borrowers will be able to come and borrow or get financing from you. When they want to apply for a loan, they apply for a loan from here. When they want to sign in, they sign in from here, and they're able to get from the account. So this is the standard setup that comes with VulaCheck once you sign in. So this is not a separate cost that you are charged in because of our website. This is standard with your instance of VulaCheck, and it includes the cost. So once you change your details, so for instance, if I want to change VulaCheck or I want to change this to another entity, I can be able to change the logo. That means as an admin, when you log in as an admin to your admin instance, once you change this logo here, the logo that is on your website also changes. This logo also changes. If I want to change the color that is appearing on that website to a color that I'm okay with or color that I appreciate, I can easily come and change the color and say, I want this color to appear on my website. Once you change that color, you say save that. It is successful. Once we refresh this, we find that the color has changed. If you want to change from transparent financing all the time, you want different wording, then we are, because it's standard, you're able to change according. We have 4 changes that you can do. Flexible loans, honest term, fast approval, you can change to that, or you can say personal loans designed for your lifestyle, depending on what you want. And then once you're done, you save the branding. Once you save the branding, the changes appear on your website from transparent to personal loans designed for your lifestyle. All your borrowers would borrow from here and get the loans application from there. So in terms of looking at, in terms of that is where we save in the brandings. We'll be able to assist you in terms of managing all your details. When you want to add in, change your passwords. When you want to bring in and create your team members, you're allowed to bring and change in your team members. You can be able to create your team members. You are able to change permissions of your team members and different permissions that they have. VulaCheck has been made with a Maker Checker. So Maker Checker process that the person who issues a loan, for those who sort of work with officers, they work with officers. An officer cannot originate a loan and they cannot be the ones to disburse or approve the loan. It goes to another person. So there's segregation of duties. But if you work alone, you can put it off so that you can only manage the entire process end to end. But VulaCheck, the reason why we've included segregation of duty is that because VulaCheck is going shortly to be disbursing online, therefore there has to be the person who makes the loan cannot be able to disburse that. For purposes of notification, when your credit checks are over, when you want to know a low balances, you'll be able to get that. And then you'll be able to do anything to do with balances when you want to open branches, additional branches on that. Marketplace also is there for credit checks purchase. So we have bank verification amounts. When you want to do bank verification, we're going to see ID verification is also there. SMS credits, VulaCheck credits are also there. VulaCheck credits are the VulaCheck intelligent engine that is embedded in the system. And then our Sacra yearly subscription can also be done from here. As LG members, we are required to ensure that all our members pay the subscription from there. So that's the element of the engine that is in the settings that can be able to personalize VulaCheck to become your own. So with that, you already fully come in with a website, you already come in with the online portal, just the moment we approve your application once you subscribe to VulaCheck. Coming back to the application process, once on your online members have applied for loans, they all will be here. So all applications will come from outside, from online applications will be done, and all will appear here. There are two ways for application. One, I, as a borrower, log into your website and apply, or you, as an admin, are able to let or bring in your clients. So you can be able to open an account for any borrower who has sent you documents via WhatsApp, for people who do not have smartphones, and then you're able to fill in for them. I want you to look at this signing channel, which is one of those things that we have done as VulaCheck to ensure that you do not leave any clients out. There's the online and email link, and then there's SMS, future phone. This is a person who has no smartphone. So as an admin, for your clients who are not able to access the email, who are not able to access a smartphone, we can change how they will sign the loan agreement by using the SMS feature. This is a two-way SMS. Once you approve the loan for this client, once you have a client that has on SMS feature and the SMS goes, the client can respond with a code. There's a code on that SMS. The client just types in that code and sends back on the same number that they received the WhatsApp. The agreement will be signed automatically. Then there's so that's what makes it easy for us to ensure that you serve all the loans, you serve people online, and you serve those who are not online. Now, I want to get, first of all, to show you now how your borrower will come in to the system and sign in. So your borrower is coming to either one, they're going to apply for a loan. That means they first of all have to create an account, to get an account before they're able to get to sign in. We collect quite a bit of these details, and these details are what helps us to manage our business intelligence in terms of giving you details of how or where your borrower is. Allow me to log in with an existing account so that we do not start the process off. But every time a borrower comes to the account, this is where they land into the account. So you can see the account is like almost in the middle of the screen. That means we've ensured this account for the borrower is very compatible with any phone, so that when they are looking at it on the phone, it looks like an app within the phone. You can see this is purely a banking app where there is home, where if they want to have an application, they have a button to apply. When they want to see all the loans within the account, they have an area where they can see all their loans. So like they can see the agreement, they can see what is pending disbursement, they can see a loan that was disbursed, they can see also the payment schedule. If the loan is disbursed, you can see this is pending disbursement. So as long as a loan is pending disbursement, there is no schedule. But a loan like this one, where it's already active, they can download the agreement, they can be able to view the schedule and the payment of that agreement, so that they are also capable of seeing that. We've introduced an area of statements so that clients can generate different loans. Each loan has its own statement. At any one time, they do not need to ask any of this from you. They can be able to click and generate a loan statement. Here we have all the documents that they have uploaded when they're applying for the various ID. Something I also need to let you know, the reason why this is generated statement is because these loans have not been fully paid. Once these loans are fully paid, the client will, on their own, be able to generate a fully paid up letter. So you do not need to be crafting up paid up letters. They will just come here and see, now generate a paid up letter. The reason why this is a statement or generate a loan statement or a current statement is because the client has not paid for, sorry, the client is still in the process of paying for that loan. That's why it's requiring that. However, as soon as the client makes a payment, they and fully pay the loan, the issue of use crafting for them paid up letters is coming to an end. But we'll also show you how, from an admin perspective, you're able to do that. So simply put, a client will come and apply for a loan. They're able to have all the details. If there's any in terms of one, they want to change the branch they're in, and then they can continue all the process, fill in the details, upload their documentation, and all the applications will come to the front of the admin. This is where the client signs. The client can save an application and come to it later, so he can exit that and he'll come and continue on that application from where they left off. Probably they have not uploaded their documents, they will come and do that. A client can see, like for instance, sign your loan agreement. An agreement for this client is pending. That means the client can come. You don't need to remind the client will just log in and be able to do that. Remember, this agreement is also sent via email. They can be able to see the email and click on it. Once they click on it, this is what they see. So review your signed agreement. They can see the loan summary. We talked about VulaCheck being NCR compliant. And one of those rules of credit agreement is that the borrower needs to know what they're signing for. So they need to know what is the loan amount, how much they're signing for, and everything. So once they agree to the pre-agreement statement, they agree to the credit terms, they authorize a debit check order, and they confirm all application details are correct. This is where they say, sign me a code. Once they say, sign me a code, an SMS with the code comes through, and the SMS with the code is sent to their phone. So this is what we talked about for those people who have smartphones. They are able to sign agreements via phone or get the SMS now on their code, and they're able to sign for these agreements. Allow me to get my phone and put in the code. So once I put in the code and sign the agreement, then the agreement is signed from the perspective of the. So this is a loan agreement that has been approved, a loan agreement that the client has signed. And after a while, once it's fully, the OTP is signed, everything is generated, this becomes a fully signed agreement. And you can see the agreement of the client. They're able to download it and see what they're paying for, everything they're paying for, they have agreed for, and everything that the client needs to do on the loan agreement is here. All how the client signed from the IP address, this is fully via law, and it's fully signed and sealed. Once they sign the agreement is approved, they're able to see that agreement on their online portal, as now agreement signed. It says funds on the way. So each and every process, the client is fully appraised. And remember, in each and every process, they also are getting emails. And we are also getting emails as admin. When you come to the administrative side, when you come to the dashboard, we'll be able to see all our clients, if their agreements have been signed, and all the loans that our agreements have been signed will be on the disbursement. So any disbursement, any agreement, all of them will be here waiting for us to disburse, waiting for us to disburse. Today is the 20th of June, 2026. This is the agreement we just signed. So the agreement is here. We can download it. We've already seen that we've signed for this. Once we've signed for this, we can process now the loan. the normal way we process the loan. I'm sure most of you know of the process. We can now come here and provision for debit check. The accounts are locked. Everything is locked. The repayments are locked. We can change the date, and we can also change either a real-time acceptance or a delayed acceptance. We can also do the number of day tracking, whether it's 5 days tracking, and then we can provision the debit check. I'll provision the debit check because it's a dummy, so the provisions of the debit check would work. So here is the provision of the debit check, the mandate, so it will reach NewPay. You will be able to see mandate accepted. Mandate has been authenticated. You will be able to see that. That process, of course, is the process where the account holder will get an SMS, would approve, and everything. Here you'll see all the installments, when you need to skip installments, when you need to amend an installments, we can easily amend from here. Amend the date or change anything or resend it again, we can be able to change from there. So this now where we've come to is we've come to the active loan, and where we are is looking at how we are able to do that. Once we've authenticated, then we can disburse the loan from here. Disbursing the loan, the monthly installments first is due in 30 days or as per agreed, then you're able to disburse and confirm disbursement. The confirmation of disbursement here is just a process, but you go to your bank account and make the disbursement. We are finalizing with the NewPay Altron on their new cash so that you can be able to confirm disbursement and hit NewPay for them to send the money directly, so that even disbursement, it is fully automated in the system. Not only debit check, but also disbursement. NewPay, we are in the final stages with NewPay for you to also just fully disburse. And that's why we were talking about the issue of the maker checker. An officer cannot disburse a loan. It can only come to you as the owner to make the disbursement. So the loan is pending disbursement. We'll be able to disburse the loan. For that, we'll see it later. So all the things to do with arrears in terms of the delays in loans, 1 to 30 days, everything you'll be able to see here, that the loans that are in arrears, the loans that have been paid up, what you are expecting today to be coming through, what you expect tomorrow, this week, in the next 7 days, in the month of June, what you expect will be here. So there is no guesswork in terms of how you plan your financial flows. You know at the end of the month, I'm expecting 2,000 rands. Therefore, you also know how to disburse your loan. You know tomorrow I'm expecting 1,000. How much should I be disbursing tomorrow? So that will all be there. In terms of collections, we have collections report. And these collections are what we have done with NewPay. So we've also done integration for you with NewPay so that when the collection report comes in from NewPay, they show us what has been collected. So you'll be able to see what has been settled to the bank. You'll be able to see what has been collected, and you'll be able to see what is awaiting settlement or what is not coming through, and the discrepancies that will be there. So every loan that has been done through NewPay, you'll be able to see that loan here and be able to see the status of that loan, whether it's disputed, whether it's scheduled to be collected, whether it's collected or it's cancelled, you decided to cancel it because the client paid through EFT, or whether it has failed. So this is where you're going to see all the settlement, and you're going to see what has been settled in the bank, what NewPay has done. NewPay normally sends statements to us. We'll do those statements and now say, this is what you're expecting. This is what has been settled for you. What are the discrepancies? And then we give you the accounts that are forming that discrepancy. So you'll be able to easily reconcile your issues with collections from NewPay. Disbursement definitely is how we disburse. So all the loans that have been approved, sign off, and awaiting disbursement, awaiting finalization, all will be here. So once all these loans, like all these loans here have already been disbursed, then these ones are pending. So you can see status is completed. So as long as in this state, they're pending disbursement, once we disburse, they become fully. All your borrowers, so a borrower can be, you can have a borrower, but they have not already yet made an application. So all your borrowers will be here. You can be able to get to see all borrowers and then follow up with them to apply for loans and everything. When you have duplicate reviews, when you have reversal pendings, all that will be here in terms of duplicate reviews. You want to ensure that the loans does not allow for us, the system does not allow you to overlap in terms of borrowing. You cannot be able to borrow a loan while still your application is in progress to allow for you being bombarded with applications. So that will not happen for us in the system. So just going back to the application process where you see, I want to just briefly take us to application process, and we can look at a client or any a client in terms of the process. Once they process, when they put in their banking details, this is the process of application. The process of application, you have, this is already signed, but once the client has come in and put in their documents, you first have the first tab where it's KYC, the details, personal details of the clients, every detail is verified. At this point, if you want to run an ID verification, which of course you have to ensure you have all the SMSs here. So like here we have 9 bank credits. I can run an ID verification for this client if I want to be comfortable. But it's not a must. As long as you're okay with the ID or the client has given you, it will return the details through Home Affairs portal. Then the next step is documentation. This documentation, all of them client has uploaded. Unfortunately, I've just used dummy documentation, but you'll be able to view all this documentation, all that the client has used for this purpose of, you can view, you can approve those documentation. If the documentation does not make sense to you or is not correct, there's a communication tab here. Here you can send an SMS or you can send an email. Easy, we have some templates done for you. You can easily put that and say documents required. You can contact Ciberleaf, or you can add your own message, or you can decide you want to send the client an email that your documents are required, and then easy as that, you send an email to the client. The client is sent an email. This is still on development, that's why the email, but you'll be able to communicate to your client in terms of development. Once you've done documentation and it's okay, then we log into credit check. Like I said before, we are registered with XDS if you want XDS or Experian. So your credit check report will be here. You can be able to download the credit check report from this button. You'll be able to see. So you'll be able to see the details. This is dummy data from XDS. That's why this credit report is clean and everything is okay. Then we have on this tab, affordability. Affordability is as per NCR requirement in terms of the declared expenses vis-a-vis what the client has declared, and the bureau obligations will be able to, you can see this is 0 because we have a very clean bureau report here. But affordability would come here. You have all the discretionary income, you have the minimum safe, and then here you will see affordable. That means this person is able to repay this. If there is no affordability, you would have a red X saying it's not affordable, and it will quote the NCR. What happens is that if you have an officer who is doing that application will not progress. That application, the officer is supposed to send it to the owner or for further approval, especially where affordability is not required by the credit regulator. Then on the end here is where we have the VulaCheck engine. The VulaCheck engine is where we've integrated Vula AI for purposes of looking at documentation. So VulaCheck looks at document. One of the things that VulaCheck AI looks at is document authenticity. We're going to see a live client for purposes of Popia. Unfortunately, I cannot show you details of a live client, but we're going to use this dummy data to show you. So that document authenticity is how the documents are. It's going to go to the metadata, see if those documents are real or have been, they are fraud. Are they okay? Are the documents tampered with or not? Then we have behavioral analysis. 3 months of bank statement sometimes can be about 10 pages. Vula AI goes through the entire statements to look at all the transactions, look at when the payslip says they have been paid a net salary of 23,000 per month. It will go through the 3 months and ratify that, yes, we have consistency and we've seen salary in the last 3 months. It will go through the statements to look at the behavior analysis of your client. Are they into gambling? it will be going to see, does this client bring in amounts and then immediately removes the amount from that account, so that that account does not have anything else on that account. It will go tell you the last 3 months the account has been overdrawn for this client and everything, and analyze that for you. We'll have data cross-reference, and we have credit assessment also. Cross-reference of the data is looking at the payslip, bank statement, and the ID. Everything tying up. Is the amount in the bank and the amount of the payslip okay? Then you're able to do that. You can run VulaCheck here, but you also cannot. You also are allowed, or there is a choice not to run VulaCheck, especially when you're talking about a client that you already know, and anyway, you do not need an opinion from the intelligence of the system. However, if you need the intelligence of the system, you just click the button and say you want to run VulaCheck analysis. Then the system will take, this takes about 90 seconds for the system to go through the process, analyzing, especially when you have a bank statement that is very long. It goes through a bank statement that is very long to look at all the transactions of the client, to bring you a report. It will show you, one, the 5 highest deposits, 5 highest withdrawings, percentage spent on everything. It looks at geolocation. Are you situated where you are saying you're situated? It looks at the various parameters, and that's why it takes about 90 seconds for us to run an analysis of VulaCheck. Since the documentation used here will not be okay, I will show you a real sample of VulaCheck report so that you can see how VulaCheck works. So that's basically it, where you now, once this window has run, therefore you have the ability to make the decision from here. The decision can be made without you running VulaCheck. We allow you to make that decision, but you can also see VulaCheck. Now you can see the rating, how VulaCheck has done for us here. The authenticity, it looks at it is as 30%, cross-reference is 10, behavioral is 0, credit is 0. I've used dummy document, that's why you can see everything is red. However, most of the time you'll find it's saying green, it will give a green here, green on credit report and stuff like that. And it definitely will flag everything for you. It will talk about document. All 4 documents contain different documents. There's a mismatch between the name and date of birth. It will highlight for you. You can see the applicant is different from the person documentation that they have seen on the system. There is no valid bank statement. So it gives all the analysis and then tells you why the loan has been declined. When you come to behavior, there is no behavior that it can be able to detect for you because there is nothing there was no bank statement uploaded for that. Credit score, it will give you accounts that are in arrears, if there's any in arrears, it will explain for you. And then you get a full report that you can be able to say, am I able to give the funds? So you can download the report for yourself and then save that. However, that notwithstanding, you can still decide to give the loan. You can make the decision. Once you say approved, you can click approved, or you can change the terms and say, I just want to give 1,000 for 2 months or for 500, or you can decline and say you do not want to give that loan. And you can choose the reason why you want to decline the loan, depending on various reasons we have here. Some thing like insufficient affordability, this is under NCR, so that when you say insufficient affordability and you decline on that basis, this client will not be able to apply again for a loan from you for the next 6 months, because the law requires a cooling off period, such that now you do not have people who you already declined coming in again and putting in a loan request. So one, you will not have so many loan requests from the same person. The system does not allow you to apply for a loan while you have another loan existing that has not been fully approved. Number 2, if you deny this loan for fraudulent reasons, for insufficient affordability, for over-indebted or per NCR, again, this person will not be able to send an application. He'll have 6 months, 12 months cooling period before they can send you an application. So you do not have loans of people who you declined, again, coming through to bring in other documents and that. Then as an officer can refer this loan to a supervisor or to the owner of the business. So that's how the power that is in VulaCheck to allow you to go on through the process, allow for you to give out the loans and disburse the loans. So that's fully the process. And then once the loan, you've made a decision, Then you go to set up the debit check like I showed you, and then make the disbursement for that loan. So that's how the process, and that's how the engine of VulaCheck helps us achieve that. But remember, from your documentation view, your credit check and your affordability are all compulsory. It is not compulsory to run VulaCheck. VulaCheck is your intelligent AI assistant. If you feel now you need to run VulaCheck, therefore you are able to run VulaCheck for that. What we're excited about VulaCheck, and it's one of those things that has been for us also within the industry, because we also run the microfinance and we know the pain, is when you're talking about profitability, when you're talking about accounting and finance, how do we know that we are making money for the month? How do we know that our book is profitable? So we've fully integrated income statement, a cash flow, a balance sheet, and a trial balance within VulaCheck. So here, ideally, if you work from one bank account that you fully operate for the business, you will actually not need an accountant to do your books at the end of the month. You will be able to easily manage yourself and pass all those entries that you need to do. So that's what we've also now removed the weight of you trying to figure out, did I make profit or not? So when you send an SMS, that SMS is costing. The system will be able to categorize that SMS as an expense for you. You do not need to say, I've spent R2 on an SMS. The system will do it for you. When you send or you spend VulaCheck, when you spend anything from the system and the system knows you spend it, you will find them all here. So you can see SMS service. This one has spent R31.85 on SMSs. And you can actually see each and every SMSs that you send for that period that you requested. Every credit that was consumed, which date it was consumed, they are all here for you. If you did an ID verification service, you will see the expense of the ID verification here. What you spent, how you spent. We've just run an ID verification now, and we've consumed R7.50. It is an expense to your business. So we've gone to the extent of ensuring that accounting for your business and how you're making money in the business is fully done. So for entries like rent, where you do not pass that through the business, we have given you a way to bring in those expenses through journals. For entries like professional fees are you use an auditor. We've given you provisions of how you can bring those expenses, and that is what we've done via journal entries. So under journal entries, I can come in and bring manual journal entries. So once you get your provision of VulaCheck, the first thing you have to do is look at your bank account. Say you want to start from January, you just bring in the bank balance here. Once you put in the bank balance here, the balancing entry will be done for you. That is all you need to do. Bring in the bank balance, and that's it. Now, when you want to do entries like rent, like things like rent or things that you spent on rent or anything, you just say, okay, I want to remove money from the bank for 1,000 or 2,000. I want to pay for rent. You can look for account for rent. Even things to do with once you buy things like when you want to pay SACRA, when you want to pay your staff, when the salary, everything will be done from here. You just pass those simple entries. When you're talking about your bank charges, there is an expense called bank charges. You just come in and pick bank charges and you'll be able to be assisted. However, we have a full-fledged team of support who understand all the double entries in accounting. So when it comes to such entries, they'll be able to fully explain to you how those entries need to be passed, how your journal entry need to be passed, so that you can simply manage your book. So with that, you're able to know the profitability of your business. You are able to know how much you're making, where you're losing, how much you're making from each and every line. You can know your interest income, initiation fees, service fees. If you penalty incomes, the system computes for you, you will see penalty incomes in the system. Other income, we're talking about if you put money on a deposit account, you earn some interest, you will see that here. So you're able to see end-to-end how your business is performing. You can see the expenses of your business, whether you're paying rent, are you paying an officer salary? All you just need to do is to add an expense. What is the expense? Is salary and wages, or what kind of expense? Is rent, is marketing? I'm doing Facebook ads. I put in Facebook advertisement. I'm paying Facebook ads. So you just say Facebook adverts, and I'm paying 1,000 rands per month, or 100 rands per day, or 1,000, and then you just save that expense. Once you save that expense, your income statement is hit. So your you can see total expenses here. We paid marketing, we paid rent. And then when you come to your income statement, you can see that we have rent. You can see marketing and advertising is 1,000. You can see rent here was 1,000 and 2,000 for professional fees. So they are all captured for you. You're able to know that. So that at the end of the day, you have the balance sheet. This is what you just give the auditor, a trial balance. You prepare the trial balance. You do not need now an accountant to be capturing your transactions every single month. That is a cost that VulaCheck now takes away from you. You are able to manage your accounting every single month and know your performance. Our team will be able to support you in terms of knowing whether you're passing the right entries or not, especially the manual. But every other entry the system passes for you absolutely without your intervention. It runs that. So that's the power of VulaCheck. That's what I'm excited about, this next phase of accountants, this next phase of you, a microlender, being able to know what you're doing with your business and in your business. We have issues to do with what can entries that suspended, reconciliations. I will not go into details with that. I want to finalize with the reports. And the reports is where we have now gone in and said we need our microlenders to know what they are doing. We are lacking reports in when we are coming to do our operations. So we know we are lending, we know we are very active, but we do not know where we are losing money, where we are making money. So we have all the annual regulatory returns, Form 39, Form 40, and 63 compliance report. Most of you also don't know there is a compliance report, but all these forms are just generated for you by the system. The deadlines, when they are due, the system is fully integrated to be sending you reminders that you're supposed to be sending your compliance report now. Your financial statement return is due, you're supposed to send, you generate Form 39. So all these forms are here for you to generate. If you look at the compliance report, a very detailed report by the credit NCR, it has over 70 questions that you need to answer. And you can see here 27 of 70 have been answered. So where the system can get the answer for you, those answers are filled for you. But where the system does not have an answer, then you can go through the report and start seeing where you need to answer. So like things like, has the entity been registered with the NCR for the last 12 months? Come and plug in yes. Is the registration certificate displayed on all the premises? The system would not know you will be the one to do. You can say, yes, it's displayed. I have the NCR certificate displayed. Or if there's anything, you can write here and say vice versa. Is displayed. So all these things you can be able to change for yourself. Once you change, you download the PDF report and send to NCR. But those are regulatory reports which are standard. But we have so your portfolio is here.
That's your phone.
Report, collections.
That's your phone.
Collected, how much you disbursed will be here. I'm excited about what we can do with our demographic analytics report. Demographics looks at how you've lent your portfolio. It looks at the population group that you've lent. Who is the majority in your loan book that you've lent? Who you've lent. It looks at demographic in terms of who you have lent, in terms of, it looks at demographics by population. So you're able to see who you've lent and the average book in that demographic population and look at that. You can be able to see income bands and the different default rate in the various income bands. Mr. Sibusiso, you can mute your mic, please. Thank you. So with borrowers by income band, you can be able to know which income band should I not lend to, or where am I facing higher default rate? We have this information from you. We've mined this data from your system and be able to populate that for you. When you talk about borrowers by gender, by male, by female, you're able to see what is your book in. And remember, for us microlenders, for those who in terms of looking for funding from CEDFA, these are critical information that CEDFA normally looks when you're looking for funding for your microlending business. So these are information that we've given for you in reports that you can be able to look. Borrowers by age group. Easily see, again, default via age group. Then you know I will not touch 18 to 25 years. they are not paying anything. My age will be 36 to 45. If anybody is not within that band, and you have the detail and information to show you that you're not making guesses in this, you have your own actual data. You can look by provinces. Where are your borrowers? Which provinces? What you've lent, and average loan in each of the provinces. Then you also have population group versus the income band. Where are your population? What is the income band? Loan performance by population group is also there. Which is active? Where are my areas? Where am I rating of March? Where is the default? So we've tried to ensure that you give you the information so that you can make proper decisions within your business by looking at your own data, without you taking this information to Excel, trying to figure out who is in arrears, trying to figure out what is my arrear report, what is the last time I was paid. No, be able to see here the delinquency report, 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60 days, 61 to 90 days. When it reaches 90 days, you know it's overdue. Again, when I talk about this, the system has been designed for IFRS for SMEs, meaning we are going to make provisions for you. So you're going to make provisions automatically. When a loan goes to overdue, there's a provision that is done so that you do not keep saying you are expecting, or there's an interest you're expecting and the loan is already 90 days. So that by the time you're writing it off, you're also claiming it from your profitability. That is done. So the accounting is fully done as per IFRS for SMEs. So you have your demographic analysis and you have your business intelligent report. And from there, you're able to see the demography, the employment profile, application conversion. For those people who applied, how many have converted? Again, these are details that you really need to go. So you get to know that for every 100 application, I'm converting 20 decisions. So if I need to convert 40, therefore I must advertise to get 500 people to come through and apply for a loan. You're able to see how much the loan product performance, geographic distribution, and also if you have staff, how your staff are performing. One of the things, and what we talked about documentation. Documentation now from your side, we have this button of client documentation. So here is where we have statement, paid up letters, loan agreements, and settlement quotes for your client. If you do settlement quotes, you're able to get that. So for instance, if I want to get for this client, you just search by the client ID or name, and once that is there, their details come. So I would know all the loan agreements that are entered with this particular client. You can see once a loan is settled, already the system generates for you a paid up letter here. You can download the agreement copy. You cannot download the statement for that particular loan. This loan is still active, meaning the agreement is there. You can download a settlement quote. You can download a statement for that particular loan. So once a loan is paid up, we have that done. So what we have, and that is where you're going to get. The final tab here, and the tab is being finalized, is what we call NCR audit. I don't know if anyone has done an NCR audit. NCR picks and say we want a loan number. So they will pick, say, loan 2026-011 for Fidel. We want all the documents you used to do that loan. We've known the problem of trying to figure out what affordability did I use, or what bank statement did I use, or what. So the system is going to lock all these documents into one zip folder. So you will find here a zip folder titled NCR audit. So that if the NCR comes and say, give us the details you use for loan 11, all you just do is download that folder and send. This is what I use to make the decision for that loan. When this debt counselors try to take you through for reckless lending, you will have all the decisions here, what you use to pay or give that loan here by what we call an NCR audit. So here you get all the statements, an agreement copy, paid up letter. So these are things we've now streamlined to make business easy. To make it easy for the micro lenders, to make it easy for you to borrow or to lend money while at the comfort of your own debt. That is what now is reports. And finally, we have implemented a support for you. So where the system has issues, where you have challenges with the system, All you need to do is to tell us what is the challenge, what category that challenge is, whether it's a technical issue, it's a bug, you're not able to see something, or priority, you give us the message. If there's a screenshot, we prefer a screenshot, you make an attachment, and then you submit the ticket. Team will be very eager to ensure that all your tickets that you've submitted are. So once you see this like a waiting tenant, you can log in, or I'm not logging in, you can be able to just go into the ticket after a response has been done. You'll be able to see what was the response or what has been communicated back to you on that ticket. If the ticket has not been fully answered, you can reply to that ticket and you'll be able to see that. So that's the power of VulaCheck. That's how intelligent lending is now getting into your hands, making sure that now you can manage and run your microfinance with ease, and every of the thing or bottlenecks that you have in your system being adhered to. I think I would want to just have a few questions here on the chat. So one of the issues is, do we have a strike date analysis and resubmission? So we have resubmission already. We can be able, like I showed you, when it comes to disbursement or when it comes to a loan. Let me just go to the active loan. An active loan that has been disbursed. Let me look at this active loan. We can cancel the mandate. The installments are here, so we can amend the mandates and resend, or we can cancel the mandates. So here we can see what has been paid and what is pending payment. If the client pays, then we can skip that payment if the client has given an EFT, or once it's been failed, once you've seen that it's failed, we can easily come here and amend the date and apply amendment of that date. Move this installment, and only the installment that you've moved is affected. The rest will still remain as they are. So that is what we can do from this side. We are able to do that. Strike date analysis, we've not implemented that, is on wax because of that. Then we have Form 40. Form 40 is already in the system. So when you come to the reports, we already have Form 40, Form 39, and the compliance reports. So under regulatory returns, once you come to regulatory reports, you can see Form 40, which is a financial statement return. We can generate Form 40 from here once it's ready. And this Form 40 definitely becomes an easier form to do because the system already has the data, the income, and everything that you need to do is here. So all you just need to do is download it and share that report. So we've already implemented Form 40. Does the initial agreement shows the loan capital or the end results with interest only? Yes, we have all the information shown when it comes to our agreements. I just want to go to one borrower and see the agreement, but we do all the agreement as per what is required by NCR, what the borrower is doing, or how much they need, or how much rather they pay, how much they're supposed to pay, what interest has been applied. So if I download, say, this agreement that has been signed, you can be able to see first of all, the pre-agreement statement and quotation, everything, the interest rate that has been applied, the principal amount is here, the initiation fees and every fee that is supposed to be declared to the client has been done, total cost of credit you'll be able to see, and the total amount repayable, and when we're going to do the debit check by which date. Then they're going to see the breakdown, a repayment schedule, the important date, and then credit agreement, again, they see the same information. They see all the terms and conditions for a loan, the initiations and everything, and then they sign that agreement that is there. So that is there and everything is declared. Even if I talked about the two-way SMS, even the two-way SMS will give the client what they're supposed, the loan agreement, the total loan of capital. There's an SMS that they get to also show the interest and how much they're supposed to repay. So once they see the SMS, they also see in details what they have achieved. Then you have cost of packages and unit costs for extras, credit, and checks, etc. So when I take us to the marketplace, The marketplace has all the cost of credits, all the costs that we need to when you want to purchase any of the credits for purposes of that. So we have bank verification. One bank verification is 25 Rand per verification. When you want to verify an ID, it's 7.5 Rand. When you want to do an SMS, it's 0.65 Rand. When you want to do VulaCheck credit, is 7.5 Rand. Those are the credits right now we have. So we have that. So what I wanted to make clear also is that there are costs through NuPay and costs with Experian for purposes of one credit bureau and for purposes of NuPay collections. So those are costs that are there also when you're doing the business. And because we as VulaCheck have ensured that we are, in terms of contractual agreements, we've ensured that you have the contractual agreement with NuPay for purposes of collection, contractual agreement with Experian or XDS for purposes of credit bureau. So you have accounts with them and they pay you. I want to emphasize again, VulaCheck does not collect on behalf of micro lenders. We do not collect, then send the money to your account. No, your agreement with this NuPay and you as a micro lender with NuPay. NuPay does the collection. For us, we push in the system to ensure your accounts are correctly managed, your reconciliation is correctly done within the system. But in terms of settlement, it's between the micro lender and NuPay. In terms of credit Experian is there, or XDS, that is what they do. We'll be able to share the cost of debit order tracking. All of them are fees that NuPay has. NuPay has given us the fees, and we'll be able to share those fees in details for collection, for tracking, and also for dispute. After the locked-in period of subscription, how much do you anticipate? After locked-in, after lock-in, we will now get the system to 1,299 rands per month if you miss out on the locked period of 1 year. However, in terms of looking at the business, looking at how the growth of the business and how the business are growing, then would determine whether we extend that offer for those people who have locked in now for another year or so. So those are things or dynamics that we'll be able to see. But it has to be done before the 30th for you to lock in the 829 for the 12 months. If you do not lock it by August, it will go to 1,299. Like I said before, get your registration of VulaCheck today. You get 500 rands worth of credit. So you'll have VulaCheck credits, you have SMS credits, ID verification credit, and bank verification worth 500. That means ideally you're paying 300 for your first subscription for VulaCheck. Is there a maximum interest we can charge on issued loans? I want to reiterate the issue of our system being NCR compliant. The system is fully under NCR compliant, so you will not be able to charge anything that is not regulated or that is not required as per regulation. So NCR requires your 5% as a first interest for first-time borrower, and then 3% interest. So the system does not have capability of any other charge or any other payment that is not under regulation. Even your late fees are regulated. The system will be able to compute that for you once the client is late and add that to your payment. But anything that is not within regulation, the system will not have to do that. Do we get a demo period to get used to navigating before the charge start counting? Yes, we have 14 days. The reason we put 14 days is once you have registered in for the demo, we require also your details for you to have NuPay and Experian so that we can integrate that for you. It will normally take 3 days to 5 days for that to be done. So within the 14 days, we've just ensured that by the time your subscription starts rolling, there's nothing pending, whether it's Sacra, we've gotten your Sacra number, whether it's Experian, whether it's XDS or any number or any integration. So by the time the 14 days have lapsed, your system is fully integrated. And if there are any questions of learning the system, going through the system, you need further training, you've already done for us. So by the time your subscription says, now we are starting, it is not a case of you are not integrated, this has not happened. No, we ensure your 14 days are integrated and everything is running smoothly for you. Yes, so that's ideally, and also what I want to emphasize again, like you see, the system is fully we did not put AI on top of the system. We worked AI through the system, but AI is there to assist you in decision making, but it doesn't make the decisions for you. So that's why we call the human hand within the system. You still make the decision. So even if you go do analysis, VulaCheck, Vula AI tells you this client is 0 in terms of every parameter that lender has, that borrower is not blocked by the system. When it looks at the system and say in all parameters, in everything we've looked, this is 0. Like this person here, when he did VulaCheck analysis, it gives a score of 10. Still, the system does not lock in. The system allows you to make that decision on your own. So VulaCheck does not make any decision, does not lock any borrower, does not segregate any person. It allows the lender to make the final decision. Is there any other question that I have not tackled that you might require me to elaborate further? All right. So like I said, in terms of support, if there is any issue when you are using the system, there is a support button where you can fill in the support. Remember, when it comes to VulaCheck, you will be attached to a whole relationship manager. So you have somebody who works with you in the system in terms of any system or issue that arises. Yes, Mr. Sibusiso, you can ask the question.
Fidel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
If a person is applying for 1,000 rand and I only approve him for 500 rand, can I make an adjustment?
Yes, you can make an adjustment before any disbursement of loan to the amount that you want to disburse on the application. So there's the capability of us to make an adjustment. Once you are looking at the loan before you disburse, you can change the amount. So when this borrower says they wanted 3,000 and I've reviewed and I've looked at it, I can be able to make a decision. When I'm making a decision, I can be able to say I can only lend 500 and I can only lend for 1 month. And then I can confirm that as the approved decision. So you can be able to change before you lend that, Mr. Sibusiso. So what does the AI do? Very important question. AI is there to analyze the client and the client's documentation for you. We've looked at one, authenticity, looks at metadata of all the clients. Has the document that the client has shared with you been tampered with? Have I changed from the date I got my bank statement to when I'm applying the loan? Have I changed? The system is able to read the metadata of that document. My payslip, was my payslip done via Canva? Was it done on Word? The system will be able to highlight for you those details using artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence goes to run through the statements of the borrower. When they run through the statement, it will analyze for you where the borrower has failings, where there is a problem, where there are challenges, or anything to do with that through the bank statement. I think probably I can log into, for purposes of this, let me just demonstrate to one client so that I demonstrate to you what Vula Power is so that you can be able to comfortably rest assured that what you will not see, Vula AI will see for you. When you look at Mali, for instance, this client has been declined on a loan. When I come to VulaCheck AI, you can see authenticity was at 75. The cross-reference was at 70. The behavioral was 0, and the credit was at 30. Now, when you come to cross-reference, you can see where the pass was. ID number and date of birth was okay. ID number, gender digits were okay. ID number and city digits were okay. Payslip versus bank deposits, there was a fail. This person was saying he was getting a net pay of 36, but when he went through the 3 transactions, he didn't get the same amount. So inconsistencies, there was fail. Applicant name via what is in the bank, via what's in the credit report. If there's an inconsistency, it highlights for you. Document data, metadata, editing indicators. Payslip was a photographic payslip that was given. The system picked it up for that. It couldn't get the metadata of that. It highlights for you and warns. You can see there's one fail and pass. Warn, I'm just warning you for you to understand what has happened. I warn, the proof of residence says they are living in this place, but they have shown on all the documentation, this is where they're living. It's a warn. I've warned, this guy has said their HR is called nick@gmail.com. It could be true that, their HR is nick@gmail.com, but for such a mining company, you do not expect a HR in a mining company to have a Gmail address. The system warns you. It doesn't say no, it doesn't say fail, but it warns you for you. So these are things you might not pick up when you are reviewing, especially you are reviewing 10, 20 applications in a day. When it comes to cross-reference, it warns you. Name of ID and payslip not assessed. Why? Because this guy took a photograph of the payslip, and therefore the system rejected it and said there was a warning there. So you review the payslip again manually as a human. ID number, where there's pass, fail in terms of salary, and that it highlights. When it comes to behavioral analysis, income pattern is regular. That means at the end of the month, they can see a regular income every single month. The salary dates are consistent. It's 25th, 25th, 25th. Then when it comes to month-end distress, we've not detected that. However, we've detected gambling. Other lenders, we've also detected they are present. So when it comes to digital payments, you can see 32%. Everything has been shown for you in terms of how they spend their salary. You've seen top 5 deposits in the period that we're looking at in the 3 months. You've seen top 5 withdrawals. But there's something I also want us to look at. When you look at it, it says gambling detected. Debt cycling, that means they're cycling debt, paying one to get another debt. But there's something also we do not see, pass-through account. Salary entirely disbursed within 1 to 2 days to come and to this con and weighing. It doesn't take a day for this person to move all his salary out of the bank account, meaning this guy is already not going to pay you because he's not using that salary. So that pass-through, the system allied for you. New loans prior to this loan, you get to be highlighted for. Informal lenders will all be highlighted here so that you are able to see that. All these takes 90 seconds for AI to actually pick that for you, and it then gives you a decision. Then it comes to credit report. It looks at how many loans are active, in good standing, inquiries. In arrears, we have 1. Monthly obligations is 12,000. We can see also, it will just highlight here that arrears over 77,000 in arrears for this person. And all this now it uses to say, why have I declined this application? 1, there's too much gambling. 2, there's rounded cycling. There's near zero balance. 4, fees, active loan overload, income misrepresentation, pass-through account behavior is the reason why now we are saying we've rejected it. That's the power. When you ask me, what does AI in this do? It analyzes for you all that and then gives you a decision. But remember, the human hand, the human aspect of decision making is there. A client might be as bad as this, but you know them and they will pay you. You can easily go on and say, approved. That is where that difference is. So, or is it an option of lender? Yes, the option of final decision does never rest with AI. It rests with the lender. Does the system notify when a client is a serial man suspended or a fraudster? For now, in terms of mandates, there are no records in NUPE does not give records in terms of mandate cancellation or fraudster or aspect of that. But as soon as we are able to get that from NUPE, we are also engaging with another payment debit check provider. We are going to have that soon. as soon as that information they make available to us, because if they have that information, we'll definitely give it to you. Is the lender able to add their own credit product? Again, I go back to VulaCheck. Vula means we are open. Vula means it's open to the regulation, open to what we need to do. So Vula will not allow any product that is not NCR regulated. Now, for instance, Mali Microfinance has been licensed to give developmental loans. So Mali can be able to give personal loans, can be able to give school fees loans, can be able to give finance loans. All those loans are in the system. All those loans are provisioned in the system, and Mali has capability of that because they have a license to do that. So once you have your license coming from Payday to another license of developmental loans, all those products will be provisioned for you, so you'll be able to lend out personal loans, which carry about 36% interest. So like, for instance, Mali would lend a personal loan at 36% as opposed to 23 or 24 average of a Payday loan. So it requires just you getting another license. Once you have another license, all the products are already provisioned in the system. We are able to, you just easily come in to the settings. Under the settings, you come to loan products, and under loan products, you say, now have been licensed to do personal loans. You come and say the category is development for low income or credit development for business. You attach your license here for that approval, or it's an email, you attach it here, and then you submit that request. Once we receive the request, the email, that is granted for you, then you're able to lend. But for now, every loan that you lend is within the pay loan, is within the Payday sphere of 5.3 and the fees that are normally attached to that. We need tutorial guides for the software. Then that is definitely coming up. The recording has started so that all the demonstration of steps will be there. Credit insurance, we still not have reached an agreement with 2 of the credit insurance that we want. We are still finalizing on that. So we'll be able to have credit insurance integrated shortly in the system, but we are still finalizing with 2 insurance providers. We just want to ensure that we have value for our clients. What happens to commitments that we have, for example, with WebFin? Does it mean I need to cancel and be left with collection only? Yes, definitely. Once WebFin, I believe it's NuPay. I know NuPay does not have, online lending. If you're into online, you have to do this manually. It doesn't give you those. But once you're left with collection, they easily give us the keys. We've had 2 clients already who are with NuPay. So NuPay just shares with us the keys, we integrate for them, and they are on their way to do that. Can we edit the products? Unfortunately, no, we cannot edit the products. All the products are NCR compliant products like we are. That's why we can only ask for a product here. So all the products have been reviewed and compliant to the National Credit Act, and that's the essence. So one of the team members, or one of the persons that we were making a presentation, said VulaCheck is too honest. And that is the idea. We are honest to our lenders, we are honest to our borrowers. They know what they are borrowing at all times, the agreement. And this is not like we're being honest, it's just applying the law to what the law requires and making it honest in terms of business, honest in terms of us applying that. So we will not have any product within the system that is not within the NCR approvals. Please show the bundles for purchase again. The bundles for purchase again are on the marketplace. You are allowed, by the way, to just go into VulaCheck.com, sign in. There is no requirement for any credit. You don't have to do a credit. You don't have to put in your credit details or anything. Just upload your NCR or NCR number or an email showing your process of NCR is ongoing or you've submitted all the documents. You don't have to have the certificate. Just upload an email, upload your CIPC, and upload your ID. We will give you access to the system. And when you're in the system, you'll be able to see all these details, and there will be no charge for the next 14 days. So, Mr. Karabo, you can just go in and register now, VulaCheck.com. So once you get to, what you just need to do is to VulaCheck.com. One, you're here, the lending platform, then you can say you want to start the free trial. This will open up. So you put in your company name, your NCR number, and your CIPC number. If you don't have an NCR number, just put NCRCP, like what is written in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just write it like that. And then your CIPC number, you continue. It will ask for your details. Then there's verification via email and verification via phone. You attach your documents and you submit them. We will give you access to the system and you'll be able to start looking at the system, looking at the pricing, and seeing how well you can be able to use VulaCheck to support your process. Is there any concern or question that I need to answer or that I need to clarify? All right. So we sent you SMSs. We are fully available for those who feel like they still need another demonstration alone. You have the number of WhatsApp. You can just say the WhatsApp and say the date you're available. We will be able to book you on for a demo for you and take you through the system. However, shortly we'll be doing all the recordings in terms of the process, onboarding process, and every process will be recorded. And you'll be able to see how the system can benefit you and your microfinance. We would also request to ask that you share the word, share the good news. Do not keep it to yourself. There is quite a significant effort that we've done. So if you can share out, then we'd ask that you share with all. You've asked if the maximum can charge is 6% only. The credit regulator gives all this charge. The first loan, anybody coming to your business for the first time is 5% within the year. Then the next loan they come for will be 3%. But remember, there are other charges, the other costs, the fees, the fees. This brings our loan, on average, a micro lender is charging between 22% and 24% on average. It is not 6% is just the element of interest. But when you add all these other charges, on average, when you give a loan of 1,000, you should be able to get between 240 to 260 back. So that is an interest rate of between 22% and 24% when you look at the cumulative interests. But when you look at the component, what says just interest, it's 5%. But when you look at cumulatively, the interests, the charges, the fees, everything combined, a microlender charges between 22 and 25%, depending on the size of the loan. So the lower the loan, the higher the interest rate. Yes, Busi, you have a question?
Yes, please. Thanks, Fidel. I just wanted to ask regarding when we talk online, does it come as a package, or I need to ask from support whereby I will ask for a link that is integrated to my account? That's number one. Number two, when you talk about admin and stuff like that, for example, we will have clients that are asking for 2 months, 3 months to pay. So are you saying that we also use the 1 month interest? Or maybe is there something built in? For example, I just made a recent loan with the NetBank, and it clearly says there that is 27.5%. So I just wanted to ask that when it comes to 3 months to pay, 2, 3, 4 months, up to 6 months, how do we work that one out? Thanks.
All right. I think the loan is worked out in terms of the fees and everything that you're going to pay for that. So, like for instance, if you look at this agreement just states what is the monthly interest, which is 3%. When you annualize that interest, it comes to 36%. So it just gives the interest. But remember, we have the initiation fee and we have the monthly service fee. So when you add 3,000 and say you want a loan for 6 months, how much should you pay after 6 months? So that is what it does. it calculates on a monthly. So the interest is on a monthly basis. Every month, it calculates the interest that you're going to have with that loan. And then every month, you're going to have a service fee added to that loan. Initiation fee is going to be added to that loan. So you add the loan plus initiation fee, then it computes the interest on a monthly basis, and that is how it's done. Then the other question you asked was on the aspect of online. So once you put in the documents and we send and say it's approved, the email you get would have a logging in link for you to log into your admin panel. And the next link on that same email is a link for your borrower. If you share that with your borrower, they can now start using that link for borrowing on. So the email comes with those two links. It comes with, as an admin, log into your account here. And for your borrowers, send them this link. So that is a link you use on your advertisement, the link you use on your to get to your borrower, to them to apply for loans. That is a link you use. It comes fully with the email that once the approval is done, that comes through. Any question that requires clarity or? So like I said, if you sign up now, you have 500 rands of credit available to your account. So once you sign and subscribe now, we have an offer of 500 worth of credit that will charge back to your account. Meaning ideally, like I said, in first month, you will just be paying 325 and enjoy the services of VulaCheck, transforming your microfinance. I want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for finding time on a Saturday to join me in this presentation. Like I said, kindly share VulaCheck.com with your friends, those who want to start microlending business, and all those who want to start. We support them from CIPC registration, from NCR registration and follow-up, all the way to VulaCheck implementation. So we do all that entire service. So kindly share this and reach out if you need further clarification and information. Thank you very much once again, and have a blessed weekend.